Harry's wife. Can't she see she is disliked? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This was another question that was asked by my viewership as they continue to try and get their heads around the behaviours of Harry's wife. And the question posed was, doesn't she see that she's disliked? Of course, many of you watch my channel and others which discuss Harry's wife, and it can be seen in the comments that she's unpopular, that her behaviours are disliked, that she's despised for the conduct that she engages in. You read the articles that appear in the mainstream media. You hear the broadcasts, particularly those in Australia, which find her laughable, and that her level of unpopularity continues to increase, notwithstanding the deluded efforts of a rump of shuggers. This, of course, not unreasonably, causes you to ask the question, we can see that she's not well liked, the mainstream media can see that she's not well liked, social media can see that she's not well liked, therefore doesn't she see that she's not well liked? The fact is that certain narcissists remain utterly deluded to what's going on around them, maintaining that they are loved. It was the case, for instance, that Colonel Gaddafi, former leader of Libya, still believed that his people loved him and were supportive of him even when they were charging through the streets as part of an insurrection against him. His level of delusion was particularly high. It causes the narcissist to believe, no, my people, they adore me, they love me, they wouldn't rebel against me, there's no problem. Those are agitators, nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with expressing their distaste or dislike of me. Therefore, there are some narcissists who are so wholly deluded that they just don't register that there is any dislike headed towards them. They just don't see it. It doesn't register, which of course is a particularly high level of delusion. In other instances, the narcissist recognizes that people don't like them, but don't accept it, because after all, they're so likable, so popular, so desirable. How on earth could anybody not like that individual? And of course, in those circumstances, what you then end up with is a narcissist that will only ever accept praise, admiration, and compliments, and the people that issue them are of sound mind. They are the experts. They are the ones that are in the know. And anybody that puts forward a contrary view, well, quite simply, they're idiots, haters, racists, misogynists, lunatics, not to be relied upon, not to be depended upon, out-and-out liars. Harry's wife does know that people don't like her. That's clear. How do we know this? She plays on it, of course. Her rampant victim mentality, part of her status as a mid-range narcissist, means that she knows that people don't like her. She can't understand why they don't like her because she sees herself as eminently adorable and lovable. But she does recognize that people don't like her. She sees no basis for it. She sees no foundation for it, in fact. But she does know that people don't like her. And her narcissism uses that to propagate the victim mentality, to make it seem that she's the one that's being persecuted, targeted, hunted. That with each criticism of her, no matter how valid, no matter how supported by evidence, that dislike, although tangible and recognizable, is never accepted. In a way, there's a strange kind of hypocrisy about her behaviours once again when it comes to being disliked. She actively embraces being disliked because, of course, it's fuel, albeit challenge fuel. She doesn't accept that she could be disliked and that anybody that's sensible and normal and fair and just and likeable themselves could ever dislike her. And thus she embraces the fuel that comes from it, embraces the dislike as a means of asserting control over other people by saying, see how they persecute me, see how nasty they are to me, but then doesn't accept that she could be somebody that isn't liked. So there is a hypocrisy that goes with the issue of not liking her also. Accordingly, her narcissism rejects any suggestion that she's not likable. It rejects any contemplation that she could be disliked. And in her world tells her, you are wonderful, you're amazing, you're kind, you're loving. These people are just bitter and twisted. Those foam-flecked mouths of the racist bigots spouting their vitriol. She doesn't understand how she could be disliked. She doesn't see that anything that she has done could ever invite criticism, hatred, or dislike on a legitimate basis. A combination of her deluded supporters telling her that she's brave and amazing and wonderful, and those idiots making comments such as her standing up and protecting her family isn't narcissism, all continues to feed her deluded mind. So long as they continue to do so, her narcissism will go, see, they are the people that know. Those are the arbiters of taste. Those are the ones that deal in facts, because you are liked and you are likable. Those people over there spouting their vitriol and hatred, they're deluded, nasty, bigoted individuals. And you are allowed to point that out and castigate them, and then go left eye, one tear, now. And you're allowed to say, nobody asked if I'm okay, by utilising that hatred, which of course has no foundation but exists. Thus, some narcissists don't recognise that they're disliked at all. They're completely oblivious to it. And it's quite hilarious, the level of delusion that they have, that they can't simply comprehend that they are unpopular. It just doesn't compute. They just don't see it. With other narcissists, they see that they're disliked. Again, they don't accept it, but they can see it. And they'll invariably utilise it to their advantage vis-a-vis the prime aims, particularly the issue of control and drawing fuel. But they cannot accept that such dislike has any credible foundation. And their narcissism always puts paid to such a notion in order to protect them. So with Harry's wife, she recognises that she's disliked. She doesn't accept the scale of the dislike. She thinks she's far more popular than she actually is. Her narcissism leverages the dislike, and she does not accept that any dislike of her has any legitimacy whatsoever. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.